Welcome back to part 2 of the 4-part Worry-Free Intensive. If you've ever struggled with worry, fear, or anxiety, this is the place to be.
Here you will learn the steps to regain control of your thoughts so you can enjoy a calm, peaceful mind and the life that goes with it. You don't have to stay stuck. You can change. Hi, I'm Dr. Grant Mullen.
And I'm Kathy Mullen. Through our books, DVDs, and international seminars, we've been teaching people how to stop worrying and find peace of mind for the past 25 years.
This is the second in a series of 4 videos where you'll learn why you're struggling with worry and how to stop it. Then you can become the relaxed, calm person you've always wanted to be.
Your mood, personality, and behavior are reflections of what you're thinking. If you want to change them, you have to change how you think, and that's what this intensive is all about.
In the Worry-Free Intensive, you will learn the key foundational steps to changing how you think. When you take these steps, you will notice improvements in every part of your life.
Thank you to all of you who left comments below the video and your key takeaways from session 1. Please continue to do that after each video in these series.
In this first video, we told you about our marriage crisis and how we both fell apart emotionally. We felt trapped, frustrated, and hopeless with lots of worries, negative thoughts, and emotions we just couldn't shut down.
Our counselor told us we didn't need better communication techniques. We both needed healing of our hearts, and this was based on Romans 12, verse 2 that says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Renewing your mind really means change how you think.
To change how you think, you have to become aware of what's happening in your mind, personality, and spirit, because they have the greatest influence on your thoughts.
Your personality is shaped by 2 things. It's shaped by the events of the past, but more important than the events are the personal conclusions you made about those events. Both are stored in your emotional baggage.
Those conclusions often contain painful lies about yourself and how you see the world. They are often lies like, "I'm not good enough," "God's disappointed with me," and "bad things are always waiting to happen to me."
Too many Christians are holding on to their emotional baggage and all those lies. It's robbing them of the peace of mind that Jesus promised.
That's what we covered in the first video of this series. If you missed it, go back and watch it right now because it gives you the foundation of the intensive. You can find it on this page, then come back and watch video number 2.
You don't have to stay stuck battling your old ways of thinking that are keeping you worried and robbing your peace. There is a way out.
You can begin today to change the way you think and experience the peace God intended for you to have. The key is to be transformed in all 3 areas of your life: body, personality, and spirit.
Through this intensive, we want to silence the voices in your head telling you it's hopeless. You can never change. You're too broken. With God's help and the steps you'll learn here, you can change and be free of the constant battle in your mind.
In all our years of counseling and international seminars, we found that worry, fear, and anxiety are the most common obstacles to peace of mind people struggle with. That's why we're talking about it in this intensive.
Why do you think God gave us the ability to fear when it has become such a source of torment? It's because fear isn't all bad. There are 2 kinds of fear: healthy fear and unhealthy fear.
Healthy fear is a gift from God to protect us. It's to prevent us from doing stupid things that could threaten our lives. It's a warning system to alert us when we're in danger.
It is right and godly to be afraid when you drive too close to the edge of a cliff or when your life is at risk.
Unhealthy fear is when this gift has been distorted and exaggerated so it becomes a weapon the enemy uses against us. Because fear is a built-in emotion, it's easy for the enemy to trigger it into a major distraction and disruption to our lives.
Unhealthy fear has been part of the human experience since the beginning. Adam felt it for the first time after he sinned. So many of the great Bible heroes experienced unhealthy fear, like Elijah and Peter. So if you've struggled with fear, you're in good company.
1 Thessalonians 5:23 says there are 3 parts to humans: spirit, soul, and body. Your soul is your personality. Your body in this context refers to your mind. So the 3 parts are spirit, personality, and mind. They have the greatest influence on your thoughts, feelings, relationships, and peace of mind.
These three areas are also sources of fear, worry, and anxiety. The reason worry is so hard to stop is that all three sources must be blocked to be successful. In this intensive, you'll learn the keys to shut off all three.
Your mind refers to your brain. It controls the way you think. When it's working well, you have full control of your thoughts. You can turn thoughts on and off and pick the ones you want to focus on.
Serotonin is one of the brain chemicals that gives you the ability to control your thoughts. When it's low, your mind runs in any direction and you can't stop it. In anxiety disorder, you can't stop worrying. In depression, you can't stop negative thoughts.
An easy way to understand anxiety disorder is to think of it as a rotating worry wheel. This wheel represents the recurring anxious thoughts that fill your mind. The wheel starts when the serotonin level drops and you can't stop worries from repeating.
But the repeating thoughts need to have a subject or they won't attract your attention. The worry wheel looks for topics to worry about. It could be related to anything, past, present, or future.
When it finds an issue that could upset you, it gets attached to the wheel so it continuously drops into your mind and you worry about it constantly.
Medications like antidepressants can restore the serotonin level, stop the worry wheel, and give you back thought control. Then you can shut the worries off yourself and choose to think about something else.
Low serotonin disorders like anxiety and depression are very common. 10 to 20% of the population has low serotonin and struggles with unwanted thoughts and moods. It runs strongly in families.
The sad truth is, 80% though are undiagnosed and untreated because they are mild and don't ask for help. So they are suffering needlessly.
After treating thousands of patients in my mental health clinic, I learned a very simple screening question you can use to test yourself for low serotonin. It's this: can you shut your mind off? Can you turn off the thoughts you don't want?
So an important first step in your journey to be free from worry is to assess your thought control. Ask yourself the screening question: can you choose to think about something else when worries invade your mind?
If you can't, and it's been going on for months or years, you may need to be assessed for a low serotonin level that can be easily corrected with medications. It's very hard to deal with the other two sources of worry if you can't control your thoughts.
The second source of worry is your emotional baggage, which shapes your personality. It has a major influence on your thoughts. We all have emotional baggage because we've been raised in a broken world, living with fallen people who have wounded us in many ways.
Traumatic, fearful events in your past can leave you with lies that are designed to keep you worried and afraid for the rest of your life. These lies can be easily triggered to make you worry.
Anything that happens in your life that even slightly reminds you of past frightening events can trigger those lies and get you upset. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is an example of how past trauma can keep you easily frightened.
Worry can also be a learned behavior when you're born into a fearful family. If your parents were very fearful, they would model it to you as normal behavior. Your natural response to any new situation would be worry and fear.
This would be based on lies that you learned, like, all strangers are dangerous, change will always make things worse, and don't trust anyone.
God wants to heal your wounds. Replace the lies with His truth and empty your baggage so you can enjoy the peace of mind He intended for you.
If you remember in the first video, we talked about Romans 12 verse 2 that said, we are to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. So how do you do that?
2 Corinthians 10 verse 3 to 5 tells us how to renew our minds. It says, "For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of this world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ."
Taking captive every thought is the same as renewing your mind. To do that, you just work backwards through this verse.
To take captive every thought, you need to demolish arguments and every pretension. That's referring to all the lies you've been believing that are stored in your baggage.
And to do that, you need to demolish strongholds using divine power. A stronghold is a pattern of thinking based on a lie which is stored in your baggage. Strongholds form when you've been hurt and you accept the enemy's lies about what happened.
The lies stay active and the enemy will shoot them at you to keep you worried, sad, or angry for as long as you carry that unhealed baggage.
So how do you use divine power? Well, you have to use the spiritual weapons not of this world. The most powerful spiritual weapons we have are forgiving and repenting.
When we use those weapons, it disarms the enemy and he has to flee. He has no defense against them.
The good news is this power is available to every Christian, and Jesus is standing by right now waiting to help you. When you give him permission, in fact, he wants to help you more than you want to be helped. He cares about you that much.
I know some of you are thinking, this sounds too good to be true. You see yourselves like this, plodding through life, pulling baggage you can't get rid of. You can't imagine your life being any different.
But today, Jesus is coming up beside you in a different vehicle, and he's saying to you, do you want to be free? Are you willing to work with me to see your heart healed and your mind transformed? Jesus wants you to experience freedom on this side of heaven.
To be transformed by the renewing of your mind, you need to give God permission to help you in the 3 critical areas where you can be blocked. So first, pay attention to your mood and thought control, as we've already mentioned.
Then, are you willing to admit you have baggage and give it to Jesus for permanent disposal? It will require honesty with God and a willingness to look at your life story.
You don't have to stay stuck battling your old ways of thinking that are keeping you worried. There is a way out. You can begin today to change the way you think and experience the peace of mind that God intended for you to have.
You may be thinking, I can never change. I've been this way for too long.
If you're a Christian, you have the Holy Spirit resident in you. That means you have access to the most powerful force of change in the universe.
Did anyone in the Bible change the way they had thought most of their lives? Of course, the Bible is the story of God's interaction with mankind to change the way we think.
Moses, Peter, and Paul all had life-changing transformations in their thinking when they had an encounter with God.
The good news is the same God is available right now, and he's waiting for your permission to begin the process of changing the way you think. But you have to take the next step.
Some people say, this all sounds too difficult. I'll never be able to stop worrying if I have to do all those things you've mentioned.
You're correct. It is too difficult for you or anyone else to shut those doors on your own. You need supernatural help.
Remember Philippians 4:13 that says, I can do all this through him who gives me strength. Jesus is available and willing to help you right now. He's inviting you to discover a new level of freedom from fear and worry.
A year from now, do you still want to be struggling like you are now? Worry is not your cross to bear for the rest of your life. Jesus came to set you free on this side of heaven, and that means now.
Hoping things will change over time isn't really a strategy. It's just an excuse to do nothing. It's not God's will for you to stay stuck there.
Imagine what your life would be like if you were free of fear, worry, and anxiety. You'd be relaxed, happy, and you'd have more energy and ambition because you were no longer spending so much time wrestling with your thoughts.
Why put all that energy into the daily struggle of managing your troubling thoughts and emotions when you can actually get rid of them so there's nothing left to manage?
Through this intensive, we want to silence the voices in your head telling you it's hopeless, you can never change, you're too broken, you can't change the past.
With God's help and the steps you'll learn here, you can change and be free of the constant struggle in your mind. But you have to decide if you're willing to take the steps.
Now we want to hear from you. In the comments box below, write down the #1 key takeaway that you've learned from this video. What will you do differently? Please leave any other comments you have about what you've learned. We'd love to hear from you. We'll read all your comments.
If you've found this helpful, invite your friends to join the intensive. The videos will only be available for a few more days.
Your mind is under frequent spiritual attack to rob your peace and keep you worried. Would you like to know how to defend yourself and be victorious?
In the 3rd video of this series, you will learn how to spot the enemy's assault on your mind and how to use your spiritual weapons to counterattack.
Watch your inbox for the announcement and don't miss that video. It will change your life and we'll see you there.